material procurement process in SAP. So we have done the goods receipt for one document, and if I go into the SAP, so the transaction code ME23N. Okay, so this is exactly the document we have done yesterday. So if you see here, this is the document number, and this is the quantity, and this is what exactly the document type. W is the document type for the goods receipt. Means goods receipt is nothing but we have received the raw material from the vendor. So this is the material document number. Now we are seeing the various reports. Let me come to the various reports in SAP. So, 1 second. /O. Okay, so these are the reports actually to display about all the material procurement documents about the stock quantity and everything. So I'm just displaying. So here I've been highlighted yesterday we are discussing. So MMBE. So these are the things actually from the FICO point of view we need to remember. These are the little bit of transaction codes. Why? Because so completely we cannot dependent on consultant to verify our clarifications, internal clarifications about the stock report, about the GR report or the invoice report. So there are some of the reports. It is very mandatory for an FICO consultant to remember. So like this, these are some of the transactions. So yesterday we are looking at MMB, MB5B, MB51, MB5S, MR11, F.13. These all are going to be the important transaction codes in our SAP from the point of view. See, as I discussing yesterday, okay, MMB is one of the transactions. So if I go into the MMB, so this is one of the most important transaction code actually. I'll give the material number. So the same material number. So yesterday we are doing this RM120. This is the material number. And I'm giving the plant. Plant is 1710 is the plant. Now just I want to see this is what exactly the stock overview of the plant. Okay. So now I have given the same input about the stock for stock for the material and the plant. Just I'm clicking on execute. And if I see here, this is the completely going to be called as a stock overview report. Completely whatever the stock, on order stock, this is going to be, okay, reserve stock is going to be, unrestricted stock means, okay, now this is the stock we can use it. This is not restricted actually. So this is the unrestricted stock which is available in the storage location actually. This is the raw material which is going to be available in the storage location. You can see here unrestricted stock or the reserve. These are the stocks which are reserved actually. So we cannot be, okay, available, but these are the stocks which are reserved in our storage location, and on order stock is going to be about 99.0. So you can see here these are the details about the stock location, the stock which is available in our storage location for the particular material. We are talking about the particular material here. You can see here complete information has been provided. You can see here this is the complete information about the material which we can see over here. So this is called as a stock overview which is available in our location. Next one, if I go into the next transaction code, okay, MB5B, MB5B. Okay, this is stock as on posting date. So the material, okay, and the plant which has been looking out for the plant which have been given here. So this is the thing yesterday, since yesterday we are seeing the same thing. One second, let me open in another server. I've given the company code. and the GL account number. If you want to look out for the GL account number, the GL account number. Now you can see here, this is the material stock between the so and so date to till the date of this one. So what is the material which is going to be available? You can see here, this is the store location, and this is the moment type, and this is the material document number. That is a goods received document number. You can see here, this is the goods received document number, and that has got posted on 11/9/2018. And what is the quantity? The quantity is going to be the 10 quantity. If I want to go into the detail about this particular goods received document, that is the material document number. So if I double click on it, it will take me to the MyGo screen. This is what exactly we call it as a MyGo screen. We can see here, this is what exactly we can call it as a MyGo screen. And here, these are the details about the particular MyGo that is going to be called as a my goods receipt. Okay, so if I go into the material, this is the material, and this is the quantity of the raw material we have done for the MyGo. So this is the moment type, and for this particular plant we are going to be doing, and what is the batch? Okay, the batch which you are going to be using, and account assignment. This is the GL account which I am going to be using. What is the GL account? This GL account, if I go into the details about the GL account, okay, if I go to the /N/OFS00, this is what exactly we call it as the inventory account. Inventory account is nothing but this is the account which is getting debited in our financial accounting transaction. This is going to be the financial accounting transaction. We call it as a inventory account. This is going to be called as an inventory account. What is the inventory account? Whether it is a raw material or semi-finished goods or a finished goods. So what is happening? So account assignment is going to be called as a GL account. Okay, this is going to be called as an inventory account. This inventory account will automatically get debited, and the GRIR clearing account will become the credit over here. Now here you can see here, these are the details about the particular transaction you can see over here. Now, if I go.
So this GL account is set up in OBYC, right?
Exactly. That GL account is set up. I'll show now. I'll take you through that particular screen also now. Okay. Yeah. Now, if I click on, there is a FI document is got generated. This is going to be called as a material document number. This is the material document number. But if I click on the FI document, so this is the accounting document number. You can see here, this is what exactly we call it as an accounting document number, which has got generated once the MyGo transaction, once you receive the goods received, this is the accounting entry. Now, if I double click on it, this accounting document, see, okay, inventory of raw material account to, okay, the balance sheet account, okay, this is what exactly we are going to be called as 39122200. Okay, this is what exactly the account is which is getting debited and the credit over here. So now here you can see this is the accounting entry. This is the accounting entry which is coming out from the OBYC transaction code. So if I go into the OBYC now, see here.
One second.
Yeah.
1 second. So inventory of finished goods is debit, and inventory of initial balance is credit, right?
Exactly. You can see here. I'll take you through.
Inventory, that is inventory account. It was supposed to be debited, right? The 3991/2000.
Here, if I see here, 1 second. 1 second. You are right. 1 second, sir. This is the transaction we have been used, and this is the material document number. 1 second, sir.
Sure. So is this material finished good, or is it raw material?
Actually, here in the configuration, what they have done here is, okay, so actually inventory of trading goods, actually this is getting debited. Okay, this is perfectly right. 1630000. So 1630000. Okay, this is for the material valuation class, which is getting perfectly right. But I am looking out for, okay, 39912000 okay 0 this okay, so this has to come from the WX, okay, WRX, okay. So if I go into the WRX, what is GL account they have given? 2120000, but why it is taking as a 3991? Okay, so if I go into the 1 second, sir, 1 second. If I
Probably if you go into the material, you can find some.
yeah, 1 second, sir. If I go into the material report, what is the valuation class? Valuation class they are using as a 3100. Okay, this is very clear.
This thing.
1 second, sir. Just let me go. Let me get into that. But here it has to credit the GR. Okay, whether there is any changes have been done or not. 1 second. This is okay. They're using the movement type. Okay, this is going to be called as initial stock upload, sir. Actually, this is the material document that is we are going to be called as okay inbound delivery. Actually, we can call it as the inbound delivery.
Okay.
It's an inbound delivery. It is not. It is the goods received, but it is the inbound delivery. One the goods which I have received for the MyGo transaction. So let me go and see one more document where the actual one which has been done. 1 second.
Probably it's in OBYC, right? For that movement type 561.
Exactly.
The account is assigned.
Exactly. See here, if I go into this document here, see, now if you see here, okay, this is the material document number. Okay, this is the material document number. And if I click on the FI document number, so, okay, double click on FI document number. Here you can see here, GRIR clearing account is getting debited and the inventory of raw material account is getting debited and the GRIR clearing account is getting credited. Here, okay, 2110000. Okay, see here. Okay, so if I go into the OBYC, if I just come down to the WRX, see here, 21211200000. Okay, see here, this is the account.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, this is the account. Okay, /O. Okay, I think I went into the MMBB. See, no, this is the different one. Again, I'm looking the same thing.
See, this material document is only generated when the flag is set up in the material, right?
Exactly.
In the accounting one.
See, okay, there is a flag which is getting generated. Okay, see here, 211200000. Okay, you can see here. This is what exactly the GRIR clearing account which is going to be picking out from the WRX.
Probably it should be in the GBB configuration for that 561, right?
Yeah, GBB, that is the pay difference. Actually, that is going to be for the valuation class for the difference of the variance in the account, which is going to be done for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
For that movement type 561, where do we see that?
Which one, sir? That is the GBB, sir. That is the GBB.
Yeah, probably that account is in the GBB.
GBB, yes, exactly. I'll show. So first, let me explain the basic things, then I'll go into the GBB, okay? Mm-hmm. Now, this is what exactly the material document number which has got posted. Now, if I double click on the document number and if I go into this is the FI document, okay, the inventory of raw material account and the semi-finished, the GRIR clearing account is getting debited and credited and the inventory of raw material account, this is the raw material account which is getting credited over here. So this is what exactly the difference account which is getting posted. Okay, now If I double click on this particular accounting, okay, if I double click on this 1340000 account number, it will take me through the line item level. One second, it will take me to the line item level. So this is about the line item, and here you can see here the purchase order number is getting updated in the material document number line item. Okay, this is when you go and see this particular line item 13400. So this is the purchase order document. You can see here purchase order document number. So if I double click on the purchase order document number, it will take me through the purchase order, that is ME23N screen. Just I'm drilling down to till the purchase order here. So just if I double click on it, it will take me through the purchase order number.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the purchase order number you can see here. This is the purchase order number you can see here. So if I click on the purchase order history, so now for this particular purchase order, if you see here, this is the purchase order number for the particular purchase order. You can see whether the goods receipt and the invoice receipt has done, or only the goods receipt has done, invoice has not yet done, or invoice done but the goods receipt has not yet been done. So if you want to see the complete information about this purchase order, okay, you can go to the purchase order history, or there is one more report yesterday I have been shown you that, okay, you can also use the transaction code called as MP51 or MP5S. Okay, let me go through that one. Okay, see here. You can see here. Okay, so for this particular order, for this particular purchase order, yes, I can see here. Okay, so movement type 101, where the goods receipt document has generated, and for the same purchase order, we have done the, if you see here, we have done the invoice also. Invoice is nothing but RE is nothing but the invoice. Okay, this is what exactly the invoice document number. So you can see here the order quantity of the goods received and the invoice we have done it for the 100 quantity. You can see here. If I double click on this invoice document number, if I double click on this invoice document number, so it will take with me through the invoice. We have done the invoice. So this is the invoice. That is why we are going to be calling it as a Miro transaction. The invoice has been done. Now, if I click on the following documents, I want to see the FI document number now. Okay, because invoice is the FI document entry. It has to go and hit to my vendor line item. So if I click on these following documents, see here what is happening. The vendor account. Okay, he is the vendor account. The domestic US supplier vendor account is getting created, and your GRIR clearing account is getting debited. Earlier in the MIGO, the GRIR clearing account has got created. Now we are debiting, means the balance of GRIR clearing account has nullified. Now you can see here the balance has been nullified, and now the vendor account has become the open item. Open item is nothing but the vendor has to be the liable. Now we need to make the payment to the vendor. Now before I want to make the payment to the vendor, what is the payment amount? This is 100. Now can I see what is the total outstanding for this particular vendor account in my FI? Okay, now what I will do here, /O. I'm just creating a new one, new screen, accounting, financial accounting. I'm coming to the accounts payable. If I come to the account, I want to see the vendor account now. I want to see the vendor account because in FI, the vendor line item has to display because I need to make the payment to the vendor for the liability. And here, FBL1N is the report actually we are going to be using, FBL1N, and in SAP S4HANA we have the FBL1H. Okay, FBL1H is the new report formation, or you can use the FBL1N. Both are going to be the same. So if I go into the FBL1N, I'll show both of the differentiation here. First, I'll go to the FBL1H. So I will give the company code. I'm giving the company code, and what is the vendor account number? This is the vendor account number. So I'll give the vendor account number. I'll give the vendor account number. Now here you can see open item. Open item is nothing but outstandings. Outstanding as on 6/03/2019. I want to see the complete outstanding amount in this vendor line item. How much is the amount I need to pay as per my payment terms? So now I given the vendor account number and I'm selecting the open item. Means you're selecting the open items. Now I'm just clicking on execute. Okay, now here, this is the new report which has been given in our SAP for the vendor line item, FBL1H. This is how the FBL1H screen is going to look like. Or if you want to add any screens, or if you want to look out what are all the fields you want to have, in the right hand side, you can see the visible fields. These are going to be called as visible columns. You can see here, these are the visible columns. You can see here, quantity. You can see the quantity. Currency, everything I'm going to be adding here in the visible column. I am going to be seeing what is the quantity. Okay, currency, I can bring the quantity to this side. See here, the quantity has come. And what are the fields you want to add in the column? Okay, you can change, you can have the company code. I want to look out for the company code. See company code. If there is any related to asset related transaction, you can see that. So these are the visible columns. You can have the columns over here. Now, if I see this vendor account, okay, in the period 6, okay, the total amount you have posted is 153.96. Okay, in the period 11 it is 100. In the period 12 there are no transaction have been posted. This is the new transaction in our SAP S4HANA. That is FBL1H. We can call it as the FBL1H. And there is one more report which we can use it also, that is going to be called as FBL1N. FBL1N. You can see here FBL1N. This is one of the report to see the open item balances or the cleared item or all the items of the vendor account. So here you can give the vendor account number, company code, and select the open item. Now I want to see what is the total amount of outstanding amount in the vendor line item level. Okay. So if I select the open item, if I click on execute, see, this is how it will be displayed. So means you can see here, these are the number of documents. Okay, you can see here, these are the number of documents are available. Okay, these are the number of documents, invoice documents are available. If you see here, RE is the document type which is coming with the reference of the purchase order, that is through the Miro screen, and KR is the manual invoice. KR is the manual invoice. So totally there are 4 documents have got posted. Now what is the total? Each and every document 153. One document has got posted with 8 and 100. The total amount, the liable amount for the vendor account is 253.96. Means this is the total outstanding amount. This is the total outstanding amount which I need to make the payment to the vendor account. Very, very important. Now, yes, I'll make the payment, but whether these particular payments are coming under the due date or still we have to wait for the due date. So how do I know that? So here, this is going to be called as a DD. DD is nothing but a net due date symbol actually. So if I select here, due date means already due date has been crossed over. You can see here in the red color. So how do I know that? How many days the due date has been crossed over? Now, just go to the change layout. From the change layout, I want few columns actually. What columns you want? Areas in net due date. I want what are the area days and what is exactly the net due date. Net due date. Okay, so these 2 columns I want. So I'm just putting out here. Okay, see. Actually, for the payment, for the first invoice, the net due date is on 36/2018 only. Actually, you have to make the payment on or before of 36/2018. Okay, but you are already crossed the net due date. Now, what is the arrears? 249 days you have been crossed out. You can see here. Okay, like this, all the items you supposed to be clear in 2018 only. Okay, now you can see the area days which has been crossed over is 249 area days. How do the system is calculating? Now the one more important thing, how the system is getting calculated this area days. Now, if I go into this document, if I select this document, and if I click on display, see here. See here. Okay, so this is going to be called as a baseline date. We can call it as a baseline date. From the baseline date, the system is going to calculate the whatever the area days which has to be calculated based on the payment term. We can see here the based on the payment term. So the based on the payment term, the amount which is getting calculated is going to be, so somebody has changed it. Okay, so you can see here, this is the baseline date. So baseline date is the date. Baseline date is the date where the system will start calculating the net due days. Means, okay, so for example, I'll take an example like this. Now, there is a vendor. There is a vendor, 123. 123 is nothing but a vendor. Now, I have made an invoice. The invoice number is 15000 is the invoice number. So when you have posted this invoice 06/03/2019 is the invoice date. Now this is the invoice date. Now in the vendor master record, I have assigned one payment term. Payment term. Okay, the payment term is 30 days net due date. Net due date. Okay, 30 days is the net due date. Now, so when this is the payment term, I have assigned in the vendor master record. So when I posted an invoice to the same vendor, the invoice account number is 15000. Now this is what exactly the date of the baseline date. This is the date of the baseline date. So from this date, the system will calculate the net due date. So 30 days means you have to make the payment on or before of 05/04/2019. Because 30 days, it will start calculating the 30 days. It will start calculating the 30 days. So you have to make the payment because your baseline date is today. Because baseline date can be a posting date or a document date. So from this date, the system will start calculating the net due date. So 30 days. 30 days means by next month, 05/04/2019, you have to clear the invoice. Otherwise, what happened? Then this invoice report is going to be shown in the area days. So you already crossed the due date. So 249, 65, 65, and 123. So these are the days you are going to be calculated for the area calculation date for the vendor balance report. This is what exactly the areas which are going to be shown according to the requirement. Now I'll show one example now. I'll post one manual invoice. Okay. Now see here. /n. F-43 is the transaction code. F-43 is the transaction code for posting the manual invoice, not through the purchase order. Okay, without reference of any purchase order, if you want to post any manual invoice, I will use this transaction code F-43. Okay, I'll give the date.
Invoice. Just also tell me how this is relevant to S/4HANA.
Which one, sir?
These transactions.
These all are relevant to whatever the transactions which I'm explaining. This is what exactly we earlier in SAP ECC also we are using. Now the same transactions we are using in SAP S/4HANA, sir.
But there is no difference at all.
No difference. No difference. No difference. If there is a difference, I could have tell in the first initial only.
No, that Mahesh, I'm sorry to interrupt, but the transaction FB1H, right?
FBL1NH. FBL1NH is the new transaction code. As I told you that this is the new transaction code for the vendor line item display in S/4HANA. Earlier, we are using FBL1N. FBL1N is also available in our SAP S/4HANA. Either you can use the FBL1NH, which is going to be H stands for the HANA, database, and the FBL18 is also old transaction code which is available in our SAP S/4HANA.
Also, this due date I have never seen in old ECC, right? This red color.
This one?
Yeah, the due date.
No, madam, it is already available from the old ECC, not from ECC 4.7. It is available.
It is there.
Oh, I have not seen that. Okay.
It is there. It is.
There.
It is there. It is an old formula only. It is just like old formula only.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Now I'm giving the vendor account number. Just I'll go to the vendor account number. This is the vendor. So I'll debit the same vendor now. Okay. Now, sorry, I'm creating the same vendor. Just I'll copy this vendor account number. Okay, because 31 is the credit I'm giving. Now I'm pressing enter. Let's see whether the period is open or not, because we are posting in the third period. Okay, now I'm just debiting about $1,000 USD. So now here you can see the payment term. This is the baseline date. Okay, baseline date. Okay, now I'm changing the payment term, or I'll change the baseline date from the today onwards. That is why it is taking 31. Why? Because of the okay. Why? Because of this particular. 1 second. It has to take the today's date. Okay, I'll go to the payment term now. I'll go to the payment term. 1 second. /O SPRO. I'm going through the transaction level. SPRO IMG financial accounting, accounts payable and account receivable, business transactions, incoming or outgoing payment, whatever may be, and here the payment terms are there. Maintain the terms of the payment. Okay, now I'm just looking out for which part terms of payment I'm looking. Okay, so this is the one. So as the, okay, now here they have given it as of end of the month. Okay, right. Okay, so if I double click on it, so here the fixed day they have given it as a 31st fixed day, not the days. So this is the payment term which is getting defaulted here. This is the payment term which is getting defaulted. Now you may ask me a question now, how it is got defaulted? There are several payment terms you are showing here. There are several payment terms are there. Why the system is only taking this particular payment term? Why? Because if I go into the vendor master data, okay, if I go into the BP, if I double click on it, and if I want to switch on to the FI, I'm switching on to the FI, supplier FI accounting or what, okay, FI. Now I'll go to the company code. Okay, so here, if we come to the payment transaction, because the company code, if I come to the payment transaction, see here, the payment term in the vendor master record, I have assigned as a 00004. Okay, you can see here in the vendor master. So whenever you do any kind of purchase invoice transactions or whatever the transactions you're making through this particular vendor, by default, automatically we can see that, okay, the payment term is getting defaulted here from the vendor master record. So from the vendor master record here. So this is what exactly the change which have been brought on. Now I'll do one thing. Okay, go and I'll click on change. So now I'll change it to 001. Example, I'll change it to 001, or I'll do one thing. I'll change it to 002. Now you can see here, I'm changing to 002. Now I'm saving here. Okay, now the record has been saved. Now I changed the payment term from 004 to 002. Now, if I go and see here, already these invoices are got posted earlier. Okay, already all the invoices are got posted earlier, so there will be no effect on the posted invoices because already they have been got posted. Now my doubt clarification here is, okay, forget about the changes you have done. For the 004, why the system is taking the 31/12/2018 as a baseline date? This is exactly my doubt. So if I go into the payment term, okay, this is what exactly we can call it as a payment term. If I double click on it, so here in this payment term, I have given the fixed day as a 31. You can see here, I have given the fixed day as a 31. Means whenever you do any invoices with this particular payment term, whenever in the mid of the month or in the starting of the month or in the end of the month, whenever you do any kind of purchase invoices or manual invoices, okay, with this particular payment term in the vendor master record, automatically the system will take the fixed day as a 31st. Very, very important. The fixed day as a 31st. Okay, so automatically you can see the baseline date as a 31/12/2018. 31/12/2018. Now, if I go into the document header, so when you have posted this document, the document has got posted on 01/12/2019. See here, the document has got posted on 01/12/2018, but the system has taken the baseline date as a 31/12/2018. Why? Because I had given in the payment term, I had given the fixed day as 31, that is fixed day as a 31. So automatically 31 is going to be the baseline date for the calculation purpose over here. So now what I will do, I'll change the payment term. I just now in front of you, I done the changes in the payment term. Okay, now I'll do one transactions. So now I'm just coming back. Okay, I'll post one invoice F-43. So now I'm posting one invoice because I've done the changes in the payment term now in front of you only. Okay, now I'm changing. This is the vendor account, is the same vendor account. I've done the changes. See here. Now, automatically the system has taken the 002. Now, because it will be picking it, the payment term is getting picked from the vendor master record. So automatically you can see here. If I go into this particular payment term, this is the payment term. If I double click on it, now here, this is the 14 days. Okay, now here I'm not given any fixed day here. So the default baseline date should be the document date. So the default dateline date should be the document date. So automatically, if I go into what is the document date, the document date I have given as a 06/3/2019. So automatically the system is taking the baseline date as a document date. Okay, 06.03.2019 is going to be a baseline date. From this baseline date, system will start calculating from the 14 days. If you make the payment within the 14 days, so from here it is getting picked up. If you make the payment within the 14 days, okay, there will be a cash discount of 2%. There will be a cash discount of 2%. But if you fail to make the payment within the 14 days, again, I'll give the 30 days as a grace period, but this 30 days grace period is without any cash discount. So you can see here, both are going to be displayed. First priority will be given to your 14 days with the 2% cash discount and the 30 days with the net due date. That is going to be without the cash discount, you can see here. So this is getting figured out from the payment term. Now I'll make here invoice. Okay, 40, I want to credit the expenses. Let me go and see what the expenses account they have taken for this. Okay, so I'll use the, because not to waste the time. Okay, just, okay, this is the expenses account they're using. See, I'm posting the amount of $1,000 now. Okay, $1,000 today. Star. and I'll put a place, and I need to give the tax code, that is tax. Okay, so I'll copy the same. Okay, there, so I'll copy the same. Okay.
You
Now-
put the wrong one,
Huh?
wrong cost center. You didn't
sorry.
copy that.
Okay, so sorry, correct. Okay. Now I'll just click on Oreo. See here. Now this is the accounting entry. Now I'm posting on 06/3/2019. You can see here. Now I'll make a save. Now the document has got posted. You can see here 19/00/005 was posted in the company code 1710. Now I posted a new document. Let me go back. Just let me go back. Okay, same. I'll execute the same report. Now here you can see here. Okay, now here you can see. But the payment term which is going to be taking as a due date is not due date. Why? Because see here that because not due date. Why? Because still I have the payment term into the consideration of 14 days with a 2% CAT discount and 30 days without any CAT discount. So again I'll go to the layout. Again I'll do the same thing, net due date. I just add over here. Now you can see here. It is showing in a minus symbol, you can see here. It is showing in a minus symbol means still you have the grace days for making of the payment. 30 days is the maximum, I told that. 14 days means 2% you will get a CAT discount. But if you fail to make the payment in the 14 days, but I am giving the 30 days for you, but this is going to be the maximum without any CAT discount. So you have the grace days for the making of the payment within the 30 days. So the symbol you can see here, it is completely different from the net due date and the not due date. You can see here. This is what the difference between the net due date and the not due date. Now what I will do here? Now I would like to make the payment for this particular invoice. I'll do the payment now. Okay, now I'll go back. So accounting, financial accounting, accounts payable, document entry, outgoing payment. F-53 is nothing but we are making the payment to the vendor. You might get a question. Hey Rahul, are you clearing all these invoices or only you're allowing the system to clear only this invoice, this year posted today? I'm not clearing all the invoices. I'll show both examples now. I'm not clearing all the invoices. You can see here, I'm not clearing all the. If I calculate all the invoices, what is the amount which is getting? Okay, so let me copy this amount. This is the invoice amount, complete invoice amount for all the invoices. I'll copy this. Okay, now see here, 06 03 2019.
Mahesh, we will not be able to use the F.13 or MR11 for clearing open items.
No, sir, this is what, that is what, okay, MR11 or F.13, you are using the transaction code to clear the GRIR clearing account, not for the payments. GRIR clearing account, sir, MR11 or F.13 normally, you are received the invoice from the purchase order, but you are not received the invoice. Or you are received the invoice against the purchase order, but you are not received the goods receipt. So those are going to be clear. That is the GRIR clearing accounts are going to be cleared through F.13.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm making the payment here. Okay. So payment. So I need to credit the bank account. Okay. I need to create the bank account because I'm making the payment through the bank. So let me go and through search for the bank. Okay, I'll take the bank account and what the total amount just now copied. This is the total amount. See here, just now copied. Or if we calculate all the invoices, this is going to be the total amount. Date is going to be the today's date, value date of the bank. And who is the vendor account? So he's the vendor account because I need to debit the vendor. I need to create my bank account. So he is my vendor account. Okay. Now you can see here. Okay. Now I have given all the parameters. Now there is an option which is going to be called as a process open item. Called as the process open item. Means you're processing all the open items for the clearing of the payments.
Or if you would have run the payment run, it would have cleared, right?
Yeah, automatic payment run. One second, it is coming. Okay, now you can see here. For this last one, you can see here because all the invoices have been displayed. You can see here whatever the invoices are there, whatever the invoices 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 invoices are there. All the 5 invoices you can see here. But for the last invoice, that is okay 900005. For the last invoice, that is the 1000. So this is the invoice amount is 1000. Because you are making the payment within the due date, means 14 days is the due date for you if you want to get a 2% CAT discount. So you can see here the 2%, this is the fixed percentage, and 2% is getting the CAT discount. You can see here 2% you are getting a CAT discount. Why? Because for the last invoice you are making the payment within the due date. Now you can see here, now the payment entered amount. Now the payment entered amount and the payment, okay, the clearing amount is okay. Now you can see here because you're getting a 2% CAT discount, that is the 20 is the 2% CAT discount. The total amount entered is this much and the total payment you're making of this much. So what I will do, I'll copy this amount. I'll copy this amount because after CAT discount, this is the final amount which I'm going to be getting. Okay, this is the final amount which I'm going to be getting. Just one second, sir. So just I'll go to the difference of change of amount. Oh, sorry, I came back. I'll just enter that amount. Why? Because I'm getting a 2% CAT discount. I'm giving the vendor account number. Just once again, see here. Now you can see here after you receive the CAT discount of $20 as a CAT discount on this particular invoice. Now how much you are making the payment? Okay, the total invoice amount here, if you see the total invoice amount is 1,253, but you are making the payment of 1,233 only. Why? Because you are getting a 20 rupees, 20 as a USD dollars as a CAT discount. This amount will go and hit to the CAT discount amount. Do one thing, Rahul. Do one thing. Okay, now I don't want to clear all the invoices. You are telling that if I'm not going to give any invoice number, system will pick up all the invoice number. I just want to clear only this particular invoice, Rahul. Do one thing. I just want to clear only this particular invoice only. I don't want to clear all the invoices. So is there an option which I can proceed with only with one invoice number? Yes. See here. Just I'm coming back once again. What is the invoice amount? What is the invoice amount? 100, also 1000. I want to clear only this invoice, not other invoices. Please don't touch other invoices. Only this invoice. Okay, right. Very good. Okay. Now, what is the total invoice amount? 1000. Are you getting any CAT discount? Yes, I'm getting a CAT discount of 20. Okay. Now, what is the total payment amount? 980. Okay. Which invoice you want to clear? Only this invoice. Okay, right. Select the document number here. See here. I'm selecting the document number because you want to clear only that particular invoice. So I'm selecting the document number. Which document you want to clear? Press enter. Just give that invoice number here. Same invoice number. You can see here 19000005. Okay. So same invoice number. And again press enter. Go back. Okay. Go back. Why it is coming all the invoices? Okay, now see here. Only that particular invoice has been cleared. Now you can see it. 1500002 was posted in the company code 17180. Okay, now just I'll go to the document. Click on display. See here. See here. Only that particular invoice has been cleared. Now here the bank account has got created with 980. And the CAT discount and went to the 20% CAT or 2% CAT discount and went to the CAT discount account. And the vendor supplier is going to be this is the amount which is going to be here. See, this is the accounting entry after you make, because I'm clearing only one invoice. Let me check now. Let me go and check. Okay, now let me go and check. Okay, now I'll go back. Again, I'm selecting the open item. Okay, where is that invoice? Now there is no invoice number in this open item list. Why? Because you have cleared that invoice. You have cleared that invoice. Only remaining 4 are remaining with you. The one which you have posted very recently has been cleared. You have done a payment. So I will not show that particular invoice number in this list. Why? Because you already cleared that. How should I know that? Then go back. If I see that, if I click on cleared item as on date of today, 06/03/2019. Because I want to see as on date. So this is the invoice number actually. So your invoice has been cleared. Now you can see here KR is the invoice document type and the KZ is the payment. You can see this is the clearing document number. Your clearing document number is 1500002 is the clearing document number. Now the balance has become 0 for the particular invoice. Now you can see here it is showing in a green color, means in the green color is nothing but it is going to be the cleared item. Now you have cleared all the amount without any due balance of the particular invoice.
So Mahesh, that $20 has to post to a different account, right?
Already I showed, no sir.
The $20 that
Discount.
discount.
It went to the CAT discount account, no sir. See here.
Okay, yeah.
See here. So okay. So okay. So 7004000 is this 20. Okay. So this $20 went to this particular account.
Mahesh, earlier you did that ME21N transaction for, then you raised the invoice, right?
That is, yes, exactly. That is through the purchase order.
Through the purchase order, you did that. So for that particular, if you go to ME23N, you should show whether it is cleared or not cleared, right?
No, there you cannot see, sir. Why? Because why I'm telling here, that is the purchase order history. The purchase order history will only show about the transactions you have done with the reference of the purchase order. Very, very important, sir. Thanks for asking this question here. See here. Okay, I'll take you to that particular. Now,
my question is when we route it through that, ME23N should show the flow of the transactions, right?
Yeah, I'm showing.
Payment also should be.
Okay, this is the purchase order, sir.
Yeah.
This is the purchase order. Now, okay, let me see here. Okay, 1 second, sir. The same vendor account? Yeah, same vendor account. Okay, for the same vendor. Now, this is the purchase order. Now, if I click on the purchase order history, so here, for this particular purchase order, this is the goods receipt and this is the invoice receipt. Okay, this is the invoice document number. You can see here, 51000011 is the invoice document number. Okay,
Yeah.
Now, if I click on this invoice document number, if we click on this flow of document, because accounting entry has to trigger to my general ledger. So if I see here, what is that accounting document number? 51000001. Okay, now I'll go back. I'll select the open item, same vendor account. Okay. Okay, now here you can see here that has been cleared, I think. Okay, the invoice amount has been cleared or not. Okay, $100.
I think that is still not paid. Once you pay that, it should show under ME23N.
No, sir, it will not show under ME23, sir. ME23,
Is there
ME23.
Is there nothing like a document flow for a purchase order?
Yes,
Just like in sales order?
No.
I will show you one example. Probably I will post in the.
Okay, I'll do the same thing, sir. Now let me go through this. Okay, now okay, let me 1 second, sir. Okay, now if I double click on it, yes, sir, it is already cleared. See here, there's a clearing document number is there. You can see here, this is already cleared. This invoice has already cleared. Now I'll go to the vendor account number. Now I'll go when you are okay. Now I'm selecting the cleared item number. When you are cleared on 21st. Okay, right. 21st. I'll give the same date. Okay. Now here I can see here 51000001. Okay. See here. 51000001. This is the invoice number. FI accounting invoice number. It has been cleared with this particular amount. 100 is the USD dollar. See, 100 is the USD dollar. It has got cleared with 15000 is the transaction. Now, yes, it has cleared. Now, if I go back, so you're telling me that okay, that invoice number will be displayed here.
No, it is not paid yet. It is not yet paid. Only you received the goods. The GRIR only it's a credit. We are seeing the credit there. If you go to the FI transaction.
Yes, so this is the FI.
What is it? FI transaction. If you double click, what is the entry it's showing?
1 second. 1 second. Okay. So
the supplier credit, right?
Okay, I'll show this. So you want to see that FI transaction? Okay. So for the invoice or the goods receipt?
Yeah, goods receipts. Yeah. So the vendor is credited and the invoice. I mean, the inventory is debited, right?
Okay. This is what exactly you're talking about. The invoice.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'll take you to the invoice, and this is the accounting entry. Yeah, this is what exactly.
Yeah. So here the vendor is credited and GRIR is debited.
Exactly.
So there is a liability to the vendor now. So
now there is a liability to the vendor of $100 USD.
Yeah. When we pay that should be reflecting in that particular PO. And it should reflect under ME23N.
So where it is, I mean to say that. So you're talking about here in this particular line item number here. In the one more line,
yeah. one more line should be there, which should be a clearing account. I mean, clearance of that particular payment.
I don't think so, sir. Why? Because see, okay, why? Because see, this purchase order history, let me also check with my consultant also, okay? But this purchase order history will show only those line items, only those documents with the reference of whether fee, for example, this is what you are the goods receipt and this is the invoice receipt. So whether you are doing the goods receipt or invoice receipt, you are taking the purchase order number and you are doing the goods receipt and the invoice receipt. So whatever the documents you have posted with the reference of this particular purchase order, only those document numbers can be seen, the flow of the document numbers can be seen. But now the amount which I'm clearing, now whatever the $100 which I need to clear, so what I'm going to do, I'm not using the reference of the purchase order. See, if I go back /NF-53 /NF-53, so I'm clearing that invoice. I'm clearing the vendor account number with the document number. So nowhere I'm not giving any purchase order number here. I'm not clearing that invoice with the reference of the purchase order. I'm clearing that invoice with the invoice number, with the document number, but not with the purchase order number. So that document flow will not show the clearing number here. Yes, the clearing document number I can bring here. If I go into the FI document, if I double click on this domestic vendor account, the line item, I can show the vendor account line item has been cleared with this document number, clearing number. But this clearing document number 1500000, this you are posted with the reference of the invoice number, not with the reference of the purchase order. So that document number, I don't think so, sir. Please, I'll also check with my MM consultant also. I don't think so. That document number will be shown with another line item over here.
Okay, and earlier that GBP, the transaction key GBP account determination,
Yeah.
Venkat was discussing, right? Can we just see that link, how it is working, if you don't mind? If not today, tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll show it tomorrow because time constraint is there. Okay, so definitely I'll show it tomorrow. Okay, so this is out the complete cycle of accounts payable from the procurement till the payment has been done to the vendor.
Yeah.
Is it clear to all of you now?
Yeah.
Great, yes.
Just have a
Clear.
A little bit on a material ledger would be wonderful, Mahesh.
Yeah, I'll explain. Okay, yeah.
Mahesh, if you don't mind, just have a word with I can just send you some couple of screenshot if you want.